What is a life after death? Well, in the very literal sense, a life after death is what it proclaims itself to be. It is a life which is lived after your period of living. Now, what that could mean varies on religious text to religious text, just like it varies on person to person. There is no actual quantifiable description of a life after death because, as far as we're aware, if we're pragmatic and logical thinkers, which I would consider myself to be one significantly, it doesn't exist. Within our realm, or within the life we know, a life after that does not exist. Now, I've been struggling with this a lot. My mental health, but more so the continuation of events it brought me about. See, the truth is, we are a beautiful group of people. We're a kind group of people for the most part. We're a stereotypical group of people as well. That's the people on this planet, the people we know, the people we cherish, or the people we loathe. Throughout the endeavor of learning about who you are and learning who you are and adapting to who you are and so on, basically gaining maturity, you develop a instinct for what is right and what is wrong. This is where our minds are to be. In the instance where you deviate from what is right and what is wrong to your eyes, you are possibly dealing with some kind of mental issue. You're probably dealing with some kind of mental issue. Either that or you have had an awakening. This is the current situation I am in, but the mental issue part is much more prominent to me as of the present moment and has been for probably a month, maybe a bit longer. See, the truth is, I believe that within the opportunities that are foretold to us, within the reality, the reality which we seek, and within the logic which we confine ourselves to believing in, there's a pathway to superstition. That would bring about the life after death. To some people's means, to some people's eyes, would bring about the religious bit as well. Now, what my thinking revolves around sometimes is that I am undergoing a massive thing called the psychic trip. I am psychic tripping, which is what people around me would have called it, not my physical know-how. It's not the physical people I know, but the people in my head, or the people who talk to me through my head, already could be quantified as bullshit, but I'm going to finish. It is known as a state where, to my mind, I am to be put in scenarios where I am in contact with another world. But this contact, it essentially only amounts to vicious murder in between callous pleas of help. However, it is not how you imagine. See, the truth is, I deal with the epitome, the element of truth, yet I deal with a facetious lie. And the vicious murder that is repeated in my head is to happen to me. And it is very easy for me to categorize that as the facetious lie. Because, well, how could you not? What I believe I have done in the last year and 4 months is walk and try to have sanity and express myself. And, the truth is, I believe I've done it very well. Which could, under hypothetical circumstances, bring about an element of, jealousy within my own mind toward myself. Because I believe I was destined for failure. And I believe the psychic tripping that I've mentioned plays a part into that. What rings to my head all of the time is, what if I did contact another world, Because that's fascinating as an idea. And what if we're what we'd consider to be closed-minded in the grander picture of what humanity represents? Us as a species. Because I think about it, we're naturally born in every way, which means we do not believe in such a thing because, well, our reality is closeted to ourselves. But if you assume that a naturally born planet actually stepped off the grid and made it onto a world that lives past that, then there could be an entire ecosystem and infrastructure there. And see, the truth is, I kind of believe it sometimes, I kind of do. And I believe the world I'm living in was meant to be much more crooked than it actually was at the same time. And this is where you get into conspiracy theories, big time. They kind of revolve around me. Because I'm unimportant in this world, that's why I'm laughing. But I am important. Everyone's important, everyone has meaning, everyone has value. But I haven't made a name for myself at all. So, the truth is, well, maybe at some point in time, maybe the culmination of our species leading to because I want you to consider a perspective leading to a position where in the future you live after that, because it could technically be done. Look, I want you to assume something, okay? What if, because the mind is one of the most inherently complicated things there is. The mind is an incredibly powerful tool. But I want you to think about what the mind represents. Because right now, all the mind does is it fuels the person's movements. It fuels the person's mind. Okay? But you think about it, first of all, we have like 10 times as much brain matter and power than what we utilize. That's essentially proven. It's at least 5 times. And the other thing I'm struggling with is, what if the brain is like sticky matter? Like, what if like things can like stick to the mind that wouldn't be noticed through an X-ray or through any kind of observation? You know, where a transparent observation, but at the same time, it would still be within the working of the mind. Because if you assume that, well, if the mind understands every human element, and if the mind understands how it is that a person is to work, then why can't a mind under its subconscious and hypothetical state recreate people? Why can't it recreate people? Because if you understand how people are through your mind, then why can't you recreate them? That's what creates the basis for stories. That's what creates the basis for fiction. You know? Is the fact that we can recreate people. Is the fact that we understand who people are, so therefore we can create them. So, under that logical assumption, or logical fact, you deduct yourself to a point where, well, maybe we'll never live after that, you know, but there would be credence for it in this weird way because of that. Because if you can recreate the human body, and if you can recreate the human minds, which are considered two incredibly complex things, but again, with the sticky matter thing, again, with the fact you only use a certain part of it, then through a very literal set of eyes, maybe we could create a life after that. But it's just hypotheticals because it doesn't matter. That's the thing. Is we're never gonna live it, you know? Is I feel like there's so many barriers to that in the first place. Like, for starters, we're under our own degree of limitations. Which means that unless there was a miraculous mind that came into the picture that was actually able to do this, it's never going to be done, you know? Now, as far as our technology goes, maybe in 100 years, we could hypothetically pull off something like that, but our Earth is toast by then. And then again, it's living after death. That means there essentially needs to be like a spirit realm, you know, that would accommodate us. There needs to be something there already that would be able to accommodate who we are. And that could involve other species, which is another fascinating point. Now, see, the truth is that I believe we are to enjoy our lives. That's what matters most. Come on, get you. Fuck yeah. I need to brush my teeth, man. Um, I believe we are to enjoy our daily lives and not worry about that kind of potential thing, you know? So I've had discussions with a friend a few times about it, life after death, you know, and I was never sure about it. I think it's the talk all of us have, and that's why I'm kind of like just rambling about it because it's a fascinating point, you know. But anyways, to go back, I have psychic trips daily, or just psychotic trips. Boom, plot twists. Where my brain sets up various points throughout my walk. And you know what's freaky about it? It can predict shit that I can't. It does it through characters. It predicted my dad's age and I didn't even know it. It was like 53. And then I was like, damn, Dad, what age are you turning into? I thought 52, in complete honesty. And he said 53. It predicted a few people's names. Which brings me back to point one. It predicted people's fucking names. You know, like, I mean, that's the part that trips me out about it. Like, I was literally a true story, and I swear to God, I was walking out of my residential housing, and there is this guy there. And suddenly, the whole story is spinning out in my head. The stupid psychic story where there's this guy who owns computers who can predict the future, but then suddenly, I just see, as I ask a guy his name, I see his name. Like, I visualize his name. And then he tells me his name, and it's the exact same name. And then a second guy comes into the picture, and the first guy asks him his name. What a fucking coincidence. And he goes and he says it is the same name I visualized. And I start thinking to myself, it's moments like these that are too much of a trip. Where I start thinking to myself, am I really living a fucking reality? Or am I living a lie? Because, well, any reality that can be completely predicted 100% of the way could be categorized as a lie, you know? And that trips me out. Anyways, all of that to say, well, shit, I don't even know what the fucking point of this video was. I guess, stay safe. Hope you're not going through the situation I am, because I can't even take a fucking walk without, Mr. fucking Jerry's or something coming up to my hair and saying, I'm gonna duplicate you 500 times and slice you up in hell. So just be grateful you're not going through what I'm going through, and be grateful you don't have the paranoia I do, although I barely experience paranoia. I mean, it's kind of jack shit at this point, because what's the fucking point of thinking about 60 years from now? Who even does that? But anyways, I'm gonna go. So I thank you lovely souls. I'm actually gonna post this. I'm surprised. But the last video didn't get shit in attention, but you know what I've realized? Even though I'm always on the YouTube studio looking for that extra view and that potential like, but what I've realized is it's just a habit thing. Like ultimately I just record for my own goddamn self. Anyways, thank you everyone and see ya.